COVID cases and hospitalizations are increasing, but some doctors are noticing key differences between the cases they're seeing now versus the beginning of the pandemic.
WDRB Dakota Sherry explains these new trends. Dakota?
We may all be sick of talking about it, but COVID is still very much around. The good news is right now, for many people, the disease is less severe than before.
We don't have those massively severe respiratory diseases like we saw previously. And I think that's the biggest change in exposure and vaccination rates across this commonwealth.
But that doesn't mean people aren't getting sick.
I think most every location we have now is being asked for tests or people coming in symptomatic.
UofL Health's Dr. Jason Smith says over the past 3 weeks, hospitalizations have gone up.
It's really a spectrum of people. So it's not like it was previously where we saw a lot of older individuals. What we're seeing now is really people from multiple different age groups coming into the hospital.
Overall, Smith says it's often patients who have a chronic medical condition that's been exacerbated by COVID ending up hospitalized. Very few ending up in ICU.
That in and of itself tells us that at least what we're seeing is a much lower peak than we saw previously and a much less severe disease than we had seen previously compared to what we've been dealing with really for the past 2 years.
With most things open and people traveling, the Louisville Metro Department of Public Health says it's focusing its contact tracing on congregate settings like shelters and daycares. The department adds it's offering free testing events in areas that have high positivity rates and lower than average vaccination rates. Smith says while what they're seeing tends to be less severe, these recent cases are relatively widespread, and he encourages people to continue taking precautions.
Particularly as we start to head back to school, it's things to keep in mind and things to make sure you still stay on washing your hands and making sure your vaccines are up to date and all the mitigation strategies that we've been trying to do for the last couple of years.
Louisville Metro Health did tell WDRB it is discussing potentially opening additional public testing sites. A list of all the current public testing sites can be found at WDRB.com. Dakota Sherrick, WDRB News.